Suspending their hiring of the folks here in Battle Creek.
They're slowing, but that doesn't mean that their business plan is going to terminate. They are responding to the international contraction in demand because of the international recession. But their product is in huge demand. So I think it may be a pause in the action, but it's not going to be a termination of the action, I'll say that.
When you say the product is in huge demand, I think it would be hard for people to accept that when they're hearing that the jobs aren't coming.
Well, what I'm saying is that with the efforts on the state, the federal, and the global arena to make sure that we reduce carbon emissions, solar panels are going to be in huge demand. Now, it may be, as with every solution right now, everything is slowed down. But it doesn't mean that they're not in the right area, that it's not a sweet spot for growth, or that they won't be hiring in the future, because I think they will be, and they will say they will be too. It's just they've got to get through this recessionary period as well.
Governor, can the state, getting rid of the state business tax, can that help us with the economy here in Michigan?
Well, you can't get rid of the business tax, because that means that you will have no money to fund education or put people in prison who've committed crimes that hurt the community, or make sure that you can keep people on health care. So you have to have the basics, and so that's why every state has a business tax. You know, the question is, can you configure it in a way that is better than what it currently is configured? And I think you can always improve. How do you pay for it is always the question. We are in a state that has been cutting now for 6 straight years. I've cut more out of state government than any governor in the history of Michigan. I'm always interested in ways to make us more competitive, but I'm not going to hurt people. I'm not going to cut people off of mental health services or Medicaid or hurt children by increasing the number of people in a classroom. So the question is, what's the balance that we can achieve? And I think we can get there. We've put a lot of ideas on the table. I'm hopeful that we can work them out.
Could you speak a little bit more about how the state can guarantee that the stimulus money will be used as effectively as possible?
Yeah, the federal government and the state government is requiring enormous transparency and accountability with respect to these stimulus dollars. Every dollar is going to be accounted for. It is going to be on our website. It's going to be following every single rule, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. We want to make sure that not only we use the first tranche of money that the state is receiving well, but that we are positioned as a state to be able to receive monies that other states either aren't using well themselves or for some reason haven't taken advantage of. We want to be a model state for how you can do it right. And every oversight agency, the auditors, you name it, we are putting on it. We've established an office to do this. We want to make sure the taxpayers feel trusting that their money was well spent.
Governor, you mentioned to the other group that the federal government's going to be putting more attention on Michigan and how it spends the dollars.
16 states, yeah.
Is that going to be a blessing or a curse for this state that it's going to be under that kind of microscope?
Actually, I think it's a very good thing. Anytime that you are held to a higher standard, that means you jump higher. And we ought to, and we welcome it. In fact, we want to be a model state for others about how to do this right. So it's why we have set up an office. We have put in place the people who will be auditing on the state side, on the back side, and we have welcomed the federal government to come in on the front side to make sure that we do it exactly right.
And the auditors are here now?
The auditors were here yesterday, but they'll be here for, 2 days a month? Where did Leslie go? Leslie, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Sorry to bother you. Leslie Fritz is running our office, and if you could just describe what the Federal General Accounting Office is going to be doing with respect to the time that they spend in Michigan.
The General Accounting Office has selected Michigan as one of 16 states and the District of Columbia that they're going to be monitoring and watching over the next 3 years to look at how recovery dollars are being spent and the impact that they're having on citizens across the state, which means that every 2 months they will be reporting to Congress on the progress that states are making in using the dollars, using them effectively, and the impact the dollars are having. They were in Michigan for the first time yesterday. Their first report to Congress is due April 17th, and they will be reporting every 2 months for the next 3 years. So we expect to be seeing a lot of them.
Is there any concern that added scrutiny may discourage some from getting involved with this kind of program?
I would hope that the added scrutiny would encourage people to get involved, to ensure that it's being done right. And the fact that help is on the front side to guide people to make the wise decisions on the front side rather than being spanked on the back side. We want to encourage people to do it right in the first place.
Governor, we're hearing auto suppliers will be getting part of the TARP money. Why is that important?
It is a huge deal that the auto suppliers who have been in a state of contraction because of the recession are able now to access some of the TARP money. This allows for the auto task force to address the problems systemically. It's not just Chrysler and GM that are challenged. It is the whole automotive supply chain, not just the supply chain that supplies the domestic auto industry, but they also supply the international companies. We know as a state that we've been receiving all of these notices of layoffs related to suppliers because nobody's buying cars, nobody's building cars, nobody's making the parts to go into those cars. This will allow for them to guarantee that they are able to pay their bills and to stay on their feet. Very, very important. We're really grateful to the Obama administration for looking at this as a system, systemically.
Thank you, Governor.
Okay, thanks everybody.